Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Tuesday, May 9th. My name is Alan, and I want to welcome you to my Spiritual Growth Through Recovery podcast. The purpose of these videos is to grow my spirituality by following the AA program of recovery, and I do that by being honest, vulnerable, and making these videos. I'm no expert in AA or spirituality or recovery. I'm just sharing my experiences. I'm trying to live life on life's terms and do it sober. All right. So the recipe we follow here is we read the daily reading out of the AA Daily Reflection book. There's a description and a link in the description if you want to follow along. And I'll just share my take on what I took from the reading and any other topic that feel like sharing today. So, all right. So the topic for today is going to be walking through fear, and we're going to kind of break down the Serenity prayer. All right. All right. May 9th. Walking through fear. If we cling to something we will not let go, we ask God to help us be willing. Alcoholics Anonymous, page 76. When I had taken my fifth step, I became aware that all my defects of character stem from my need to feel secure and loved. To use my will alone to work on them would have been trying obsessively to solve the problem. In the sixth step, I intensified the action I had taken in the first three steps, meditating on the step by saying it over and over, going to meetings, following my sponsor's suggestions, reading and searching within myself. During the first 3 years of sobriety, I had a fear of entering an elevator alone. One day I decided I must walk through this fear. I asked for God's help, entered the elevator, and there in the corner was a lady crying. She said that since her husband had died, she was deathly afraid of elevators. I forgot my fear and comforted her. This spiritual experience helped me see how willingness was the key to working the rest of the 12 steps to recovery. God helps those who help themselves. Walking through fear. Everyone has fear. I guess, and the whole idea of courage is to push forward, even though we're experiencing that fear, right? So here it kind of talks about if we cling to something, we will not let it go. We ask God to help us be willing. So there's still a way out, but it's almost like there's no way to avoid it. And I kind of like this line. So we're supposed to be willing to surrender something, even if we're not ready to do it yet. It's not like, well, I'm just not ready. No, we ask to be willing. So it's kind of no, you're not getting out of this. There's still something we can do. So I really like that. So, and that's something I've been learning how to do is ask God to help me be willing to do certain things. Right. When it talks about, when I first taken my fifth step, all of the character defects stem from the need to feel secure and loved. I kind of realized before I came into recovery, none of this was really my fault. I didn't know what I didn't know, so I'm just kind of responding to my kind of conditioning. But it's interesting. It's we all kind of have baggage and stuff that kind of makes us who we are. So, but once we become aware of it, and now we have tools, so now we can work through that, right? It talks about here to use my will alone. To work on my own defects would have been trying obsessively to solve the problem. I heard this in AA early on, and I hope this makes sense, but our mind is what it is from our past, right? And it's, in some way, it's the problem. Our own thoughts, our own problem. So we try to use our mind to solve the problems created by our own mind. And that's why we can't do it alone. That's why we need God and other people in the program. Kind of talks about in the sixth step, intensify the action taken. And it lists a whole bunch of things that we can do to keep things rolling. And it comes down to action, and more action. Wherever we put our time and energy, that part of our lives will grow. And for me, I want to put that in spirituality, right? And it's also made me think of, if I can rely on God and practice relying on God when things are good, then when things are rough, then that'll become more of an instinctual thing to rely on God instead of what I've always done, right? You kind of talked about the whole elevator story, and to me, it just made me think about getting out of self. When I'm thinking about my thoughts, my fears, my issues, man, I can be a fucking cloudy, stormy mess. If I look for opportunities to help other people, then I can sometimes blow through things without thinking about it. Because really, the thinking is the fear-based, right? And it talks about how spiritual experience, the willingness was the key to working the rest of the program. Our job is to become willing, and then leave the rest to God. That's just kind of what I took from that reading. So, so the next part here I want to talk about was last time we talked about Serenity. It seemed like a decent segue to go right into the Serenity prayer. And so what I want to do is kind of break down. I kind of got the Serenity prayer in three parts and kind of break down by definitions what each of those means. So the Serenity Prayer, which is right now, you can't see it, but it hangs right there, is God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. So the first part being, God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, right? So what does that mean? So I kind of rewrote this by breaking down some of the words, right? So the word grant means agree to give. So we're asking God, please give this to me, right? We're wanting that grant. And serenity is peace of mind. It's a state where we're calm and relaxed, right? To accept, which is really just to see reality as it really is, okay? And then, if you can't change something, we're unable to make things different, right? So I kind of put, God, higher power, God, please willingly give me the peace of mind to see reality as it truly is. And for those things, I'm able to make different, right? So when I first thought about this, I'm always wanting to feel better, to feel different, to get my way, to change things. Well, the first part, I'm asking to say, no, I want the peace of mind to, you know what? If it's out of my hands, out of my control, leave it alone. And that's what I'm asking for. Now, the second part is the courage to change the things I can. So, first part, I can't change it. Other people, external circumstances, so be okay with it. Now, I need the courage to change the things I can. So here I put, God, please willingly give me the mental strength to make those things different that I can, right? So courage is the mental and moral strength to push through even though we are experiencing fear, and then changes to make something different, okay? Now the third part, it talks about the wisdom to know the difference. And this is the one that I think I struggle with the most because I think I can change things when I can't, all right? So I put God, please willingly give me the experience and judgment to be aware of the differences. That's weird. I'm not sure why the light's doing that. So I don't know if it made any sense, but wisdom is just the quality of having experience and judgment. So I don't know. I just wanted to kind of break that down, think about what that meant a little bit more, and so instead of just trying to just control everything, make everything, all that energy and time, how about change the things I can and leave the things alone that I can't change, and just help me get that perspective so I'm not wasting my time and energy. So anyway, hope that was helpful. It just helps me to kind of break that down a little bit to understand what all these words mean. Anyway, I hope you got something out of the reading. Hope you have a good day. Hope your week is going well. I just definitely want to encourage you to, if you experience in fear, talk to someone about it, help somebody else, but find a way to push through that. Find the courage and perseverance to push through those fears, and by asking for God's help, all right, or anybody else's help. So anyway, hope you have a good day, and I'll be back tomorrow for another video. So peace out.